All right, one of the more weird chapters in the Wonderful Adventures of Niles by the Wonderful Adventures of Niles by Selma Lagerlof, which is Stockholm Skansen. Skansen being a park, I believe, a park off of like just sort of off or kind of within, probably by now within the things of Stockholm. It's the Skansen. The Skans is the oldest open air museum and zoo in Sweden, located on the island of Djurgården in Stockholm, Sweden. It was opened on the 11th of October, 1891, by Arthur Hilsas, to show the way of life in different parts of Sweden before the industrial era. And old, this old, this little old man is kind of employed to be the custodian of the place, to kind of guard it when there's nobody around, and to converse with people when they are there. But he starts feeling very lonely and homesick, so he decides he wants to go home. And it's like, well, why do you? And this distinguished gentleman comes up to him and has a long conversation with him, which again is telling one of these kind of almost creation myths of a fisherman who steals the skin of a mermaid, a seal skin of a mermaid, sort of trapping her in her human form, kind of slowly turns her into going to be his wife. And indeed, they're off to go for the wedding thing in a boat, when he says, well, you used to have a sealskin thing. And she says, oh, you're being silly. I never had a sealskin. It's like, oh, yes, you did. And they pull over on the island where he found them, and hid the sealskin. And he shows it to her, at which point she slips it on, gets and skedaddles off. He rushes after her, and in his fear of losing her, throws his spear at her, spears her, and she sinks to the bottom, and her blood comes out as kind of like a rainbow thing and touches all the water and all the shores of this area, which is to become Stockholm, because it imbues it with its beauty. And then we get from that, we get a very traditional tale of, more and more people finding this area, just kind of the build up of it, just how it's got created, the construction of the churches, the Grey Friars, the Black Friars, the very Christian, the sisters that come there, and how it's a beautiful, beautiful place. And it's just this amazing, amazing tale. And it's only at the very end of this tale that the saying, I'm going to send you a book. And it's a big red book, which came with a letter for Clement. In the letter, it said the book was from the king, that it indeed had been the king who spent an entire hour telling him all about the wonders and beauty and amazingness of Stockholm. That this is the heart of the Swedish country, and all Swedes are home here, and it's like basically the center of like coin, of stamp, of the railway, of the law, of the courts and everything like that. This is the heart of Sweden. And he still needs to go home, because he has to go back to his little village and tell he has to tell this story at home. So even if Clement, the name of the little old man, were to end in the poorhouse, he wouldn't be so hard after this. He was a totally different man from what he'd been. He would be respected and honored in a very different way. This new yearning took possession of Clement. He simply had to go up to the doctor and say he must go home. Now, this is in the context of Niles has fallen into the boat, right near the boat of a fisher who scooped him up and sold him to Clement. Clement, who's like, this is a bewitched creature. If you mess with it, it's going to be bad. So, but yeah, we get this amazing kind of digression story, which is just like, wow. It's this children's book, but it's holding kind of just like the history and the kind of the emotional history of Sweden. And, in this particular case of Stockholm itself. And it's just an amazing, rich, beautiful story of this area. So that's quite amazing. Within this kind of thing of like, oh God, a guy stealing the seal skin of a mermaid and trapping her and pretending like, oh, you can just come home with me, lying to her, entrapping her in a relationship, and then murdering her when she tries to get away. It's kind of pretty gruesome in that kind of fairy tale kind of way. So it's a story that contains quite a bit. So yeah, that is The Wonderful Adventures of Niles, where I'm on 71% of the way through this work, which I'm still. It's interesting. We've gotten a long way away from Niles, where Niles only is like a little bit of a note here and there. I'm waiting for it to kind of probably go back into Niles' story at some point, but I guess we'll see when that happens, or we're going to get more digressions. But I feel like it will kind of curve back into Niles again, and we'll have Niles getting home. I'm assuming. Who knows but it's just like I'm really enjoying Selma Lagerlof and her storytelling abilities and her just at least in this translation, just kind of the beauty of this work. Yeah. All right, I will leave it there. More videos later.